Hello and welcome to the Sketching Greyhound. Today we are drawing a content creator from Digital Foundry, John Linneman. So let's see how that turns out. I might have to explain to you what Digital Foundry is, as I don't really expect that my channel has the same target audience as they have. Digital Foundry is a web page, but also a YouTube channel that is focusing heavily on technical features in the area of graphics, and there specifically video game graphics. So if you're interested in the newest games, they are covering most of the graphical powerhouses, but also games that are just really noteworthy because of the features they sport on old hardware or something like that. So everywhere where the graphical features, the technology behind the game is really standing out, they will cover it and they will give you all the newest information about how it runs on which console looks best. So they are also looking into questions like, why are there differences between the platforms? We are specifically talking here about PlayStation 4, 5 and the Xbox One and the Series. Of course, they are also covering the PC and the Switch, but it is oftentimes about the two most powerful consoles, PlayStation and Xbox, to see what are the differences and are they running the same or not. The good thing about Digital Foundry is they do not really play into this big console wars between Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo. If they are fueling it, they are only fueling it really with facts. Even when you noticed that they had some kind of brand deals with Microsoft, where they got information before the launch of the new console, a lot more than they did with Sony, you notice that they were using these deals and this pre-information to give you that information and not to tell you that Xbox would have been the best thing ever before PlayStation. So they never really take a side, and that is not very often that you get that in video games journalism, that you have that feeling at least. So that's a very noteworthy thing about Digital Foundry. In my opinion, that holds true not only for the outlet itself, Digital Foundry, but also for the guys that are working there, and perhaps even especially so with John Linneman. I've been watching his coverage of video games now for I don't know how many years, but I always, when he does a video or if he takes part in a video and comments on it, I am always pretty sure that I will be enjoying it. And here he does not only cover the newest games and stuff like that, but he has, I have a feeling, I don't know exactly if it was him that created that area, but he is working a lot also very hard on a retro corner, I would say, on Digital Foundry, where he is talking about old consoles and long gone times of video games, and teaching you about that, so also a little bit of a video game historian. I really enjoy also that part, although I do not really manage myself to get into it too much, into retro gaming, in those terms that I would be playing NES or Super NES games. I need certain amount of graphics in my games. I'm almost ashamed to say it. But I love the coverage. I love the history part of that. I love to know and to see where games are coming from, and I have played a lot of those old games back in the day and enjoyed them very much. So it's also a lot of nostalgia that is fueling me watching the retro content. It might actually surprise some of you, who do not know that I actually have studied computer science back in the day. I'm not a learned artist. I had the choice back in the day if I would go for design and art or for computer science, and I picked computer science. So that is where I'm coming from originally. And I even programmed a ray tracer on the cell processor on the PlayStation 3 back during my days at university. So those are topics that I am quite familiar with, and ray tracing is just now coming into games, and I'm really excited to see that. And although it is more Alex Battaglia who is talking about this, John Linneman is mostly also present and teaches us about what ray tracing is already doing for games. And I love seeing that. That is also a lot of art in video games. And also a lot of you might not know, before I started this channel, I was actually toying around with the gaming channel. The gaming Greyhound is still out there for everyone to see, with a couple of videos and reviews and stuff that I have done. So I really enjoy that, and I'm also looking into at what and how they are doing their coverage. I like to also analyze that kind of stuff, and yeah, I am kind of a fan of John Linneman in that regard. So this is my little tribute for him. The picture I have taken from his Twitter actually, and he tweeted this originally to show off some post-processing effect of some software that creates this nice depth of field filter. So it is a regular webcam and it looks pretty nice. And I liked this lighting effect actually. It does not have much to do with that post-processing filter, but I liked the lighting that came from left and right side. It is quite dramatic actually. And I wanted to really see how that looks on the gray paper. Although the picture itself does not have the very best quality, it does not have that much detail, but I also thought it is something that I can also train, which I'm not that good in drawing a little bit smaller. I always draw more or less the same size, and I am sometimes a little stumped when I try to draw a little smaller. And I thought there's not that many details in here. Let's try to put them on a smaller scale, so it looks again a little bit more, it has more details per square inch, I would say. But that's the story behind this picture. I think it looks reasonably well. I think I like it, and I also like the hair. The hair really starts to look okay. I'm not traditionally not the best at that, but it starts to look better. And there's a lot of contrast in here, which I also always like. Some things that I don't like, as always. But all in all, this is my John Linneman. It is a bit smaller than usual, but that was one of my challenges I wanted to try. So I think it worked out pretty okay. I hope you like it. I hope if John Linneman gets to see this, he will like it. Thank you so much for dropping by. I really appreciate that. If you want to see a live stream of mine, you can catch me on Wednesdays and Fridays most of the time. I very much appreciate you taking the time to join me today. I hope I'll see you next time. See you then, and goodbye.